What is going on, YouTube? My name's Alex or the Red Eye, and I have not made a commentary in God knows how long. Reason being is I'm a junior in high school and I have had SATs, AP tests out the wazoo for the last month or so. So I've been studying real hard, trying to get good grades, you know, all that good stuff. But I am back. It's almost summertime, so I'm pumped for summer, ready to get back into the swing of playing some video games, just relaxing. Don't know about you guys, but let me hit the beach this summer. So looking forward to that. But anyway, so I have been gone for a while, like I said, and not much has changed since last I talked. A lot of the gameplays I did, I believe all besides maybe one, maybe all of them were Call of Duty. And since then, I have not touched Call of Duty since probably a good month and a half. Month since the last recording, and the reason main is I just don't enjoy playing it anymore. I've moved on to other games. I played a lot of FIFA. This game you're going to be seeing is Uncharted 3 for those of you that have played it, know how good of a game it is. Uncharted 1 was the first game I ever played on the PS3, besides, or it was the first shooting game I ever played on the PS3, and so I kind of had this connection with it and fell in love with it, as a lot of people do on the PlayStation. But excuse me. But yeah, so this is Uncharted 3, a very good game for anybody who has a PlayStation and hasn't picked up this game or tried this game before. I would highly recommend it. It is very interesting in the way that the multiplayer is designed. It is a third-person shooter, but it plays differently than you would expect most third-person shooters to play, in the way that it's more skill based than you would think, and a lot of third-person shooters do take a lot of skill. As the connection goes here, I'm gonna take a minute and say that the connection in this game, well, maybe just for me, is pretty bad. I get a lot of bad connections, and not really host migrations in this game, but just bad connections, and I find a lot of more international players play this, or I've seen a lot more people, maybe just Americans who speak Spanish, but definitely more people that speak Spanish than I have in Call of Duty or any other game. Don't know why, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, the third-person shooter, the way this game's set up is that it's so skill-oriented that it's really hard to get a lot of kills in this game without knowing what you're doing. And that comes with playing the second Uncharted. In the second Uncharted, some people might have not picked up the third, which I highly doubt. But the second Uncharted was the first one in the series that had multiplayer. Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune, didn't have multiplayer, which was something that at the time didn't seem as big. You still had Call of Duty coming out. I believe you had Modern Warfare out at that time, but I'm not positive. And so the multiplayer wasn't as big of an issue as it is now. And of course, they implemented that into the second game and eventually into the third game. But the first game was more single player based, as was the second. But when the multiplayer got oriented and integrated into the actual game, it was lacking a lot of stuff. And this game improved and didn't improve on a lot of things. One of the things it did improve on is the customization. As if anybody who's played this game before has realized, there's so much customization, players and just guns themselves, which a lot of either Call of Duty or other games don't give you as much. It's more kind of unlocking stuff and using what they give you. There's customization, but in this game it's full body customization. As I believe Ghost Recon that come out. There's a new game that came out just recently that kind of has that same system where you can customize your entire player, outfits, guns, etc., etc. But what I like about this game is that when it is third person, so a lot of people are drawn back by it, but for me, I think it helps those players that aren't as good get better at looking at your surroundings. And reason being is third person, as if some of you have played it in Call of Duty, you can change the camera, as you can see as I'm doing now. Is it helps you a lot. You can look around corners, and also you can switch shoulders shoulders you're using with your gun. So if someone's around the corner, you want to hide one way, switch the gun, swap shoulders, helps get a little edge on them, and that kind of gives a better feel to it than just being able to aim down a sight and that's all you see is just that gun. And it also gives you a more in-depth play. I think that the third person makes it more real of a shooter. Although a lot of people think the first person is like you're living it, I think this is more skill oriented and more integrated in the way that helps a person kind of feel like they're playing the game. And so that's why I personally like it. And there's a lot of other people that think third person shooters aren't really the best thing, that they're hard to do. And I can admit the third person shooter in Call of Duty was horrendous, Modern Warfare 2, and that maybe was just me, but I thought it was a bad setup, that they should have stuck to the first person shooter because that's what they're good at, and Uncharted was good at the third person shooter, and I think that's how Uncharted should stay. It hasn't been fully announced, but what I've heard and what a lot of people think is another Uncharted is going to come out. Most likely there's a movie supposedly coming out. Who knows what's going on with that, but I think they should stick with the third person shooter if they do another movie. Excuse me. And it's just preference, I guess, but either way, I don't really see a huge difference in the game styles. Both are shooting games, and oh my god, this was a moment where I was trying to jump up at this point, and for some reason it wasn't letting me. It kept on lagging out, so I was stuck here for about a good 20 seconds trying to get up. Nothing was working. Finally got up, but anyway, as I was saying, I've just grown accustomed to playing these sorts of adventure games and third-person games now that it doesn't really bother me so much as to play them, or the changing of the screen or the angle of the camera. It doesn't really bother me. And I think playing the first Uncharted and not having a multiplayer, I wasn't really integrated into that multiplayer scheme, but it's a third-person shooter coming from a series. You're so used to it by then that going from third person to first person isn't that much of a change. But going from either a first person to a third person, or just going to a third person game in general, is really hard just to get the camera angle, as you see I'm doing now, just kind of being able to look across the map, not just having to aim in. You can just see the whole map and have this kind of wide dynamic view without having to scope in the whole time. And that's something I like, and other people don't. It's just that it hinders movement. I don't really. Some people have different preferences, but that's just me. But as I was saying, the style of this game is unlike any other, really, in the sense that it is built around the single player experience, which many games nowadays aren't. It's all the Call of Duties, Battlefield, co-op builds a great game idea. And I think that's one problem with this game, is that in the end, they focus a third one around multiplayer a lot. And a lot of people say, well, single player makes up for it. It does, believe me. This is my favorite game of all time, the Uncharted series. Uncharted 2 is by far my favorite game of PlayStation game, or any game I played on any console, including PC, ever. And just because it was so single player and so kind of had this adventurous feel, that I loved it so much. But overall, I love this game. I would recommend picking it up if you haven't. But that's it. That's gameplay 16-4. Hope you enjoyed. And hopefully I'll be coming out with some more videos in this future. So, see you guys soon.